Hello guys, welcome to the channel, and as you can see we've got this guy in front of us, and when I watched this film I was blown away by the first film. The second film not so much, but I do remember a bit of dialogue in that film, so I'm going to quote it to you, so forgive the Nicolas Cage bad impression, in which he says, "I'll take this power you have given me and turn it on you, and wherever innocent blood is spilt, it will be my father's blood, and I'll be there to fight fire with fire." And I just remember that line in the film and I thought it was awesome. But this figure I bought a few years back. I actually wanted the Harley Davidson bike that it comes with, but I didn't pop on it, which was my mistake, because at the time it was about 50 quid, and by the time I came around to getting it, you couldn't get it anywhere, and when it was popping up they wanted stupid money, like £100 above. But since then they have released the figure. I love that face sculpt, and it's a slightly different one but with a modern version of the bike, and that was £50, but that's now dropped down to 30. But I'm going to hold out for the Harley Davidson version, because I think, as you can see, I'll see if I can get round to it, there's the second film that came out with him on that bike. But I'm going to pause it and just change his profile so you can see what that looks like. So I've changed the profile so we're sort of sideways on, and the weapon he has in his hand is from my accessory pack. And those flame effects, I wanted to get some weapons which were a bit more colourful, but I decided to take the flame effects off the figure and put them on the weapon, and I think that works. So with that, I'm going to pause it again and get him on his feet. So there he is on his feet. What I like about this figure is he's very articulate. He's got double knee joints, double elbow joints, and whatever you do with him, he looks good. But I'm blown away by the head sculpt, and I know at that level it's not a hot toy or anything, but I think they did well with it. And I do hope they reboot the franchise, because I saw the first one, which was spot on, and we got to see the cowboy Ghost Rider, and I thought they might develop that plot in the sequel, but they didn't. They kind of went off to Europe and changed out the devil, who was originally played by Peter Fonda. But at the end of the day, you never know, they could start the whole thing again with a different actor. But I'm going to change this pose now, see what that looks like, and keep the weapon with him. So I've taken one hand off the weapon so you can see the flame effect on that hand. I've pointed the weapon towards the ground more, so we won't dwell on this one for too long, and change it to the next one. So here's your next one. Quite like it. Just getting the angles. And with your figures, I tend to, for me personally, I like to get about 10 poses of them and then put that in my head as a reference point. So I did have this one in mind for a long time, but we'll move it on. So what I've done now is I've changed out that hand, because he does come with another set of hands. There it is, trigger hands. And I put the bullwhip, which got the flame effect on, just to show you that, because that's what that figure came with. And you do see that in the movie when he's fighting demons. Quite like that effect. And I've taken off the flame effects on the weapon, so let's try using that bullwhip from a different angle. So I've raised the bullwhip above his head, Lengthen out the weapon hand with that gun. Changed his head to the side. I'll turn it around. That's a nice dynamic there. So we'll move it on to the next. Here's another one for you. Turned him square on. Not sure if I like it, but it's good to try things out, because sometimes I come across poses by accident just on the hunch of trying it out, and I do tend to like them. But when you get a good figure, I tend to think that most poses you get with them are going to be good anyway. So that's that one. Again, this one wasn't really in my head. I was fiddling about a bit too much, but thought I'd give it a go. I pointed the weapon down, lifted the bullwhip above his head. I like the red eyes. Let's change it up. Yeah, this one's a bit better for me. I've just changed the profile. And I had the bullwhip with this figure for quite a while, but it's only recently that I've started to have him with some weaponry there. And I have got in mind what I'm going to display him like, so you'll see that at the end. So let's pause it and change it up again, slightly changing something in the head area. So I put the head sculpt on that makes him the Ghost Rider. So I'm going to come in close on that, and I've opened up his jaw, so he's really roaring. I tried to put a flame effect in there, but it was too fiddly, so I basically, forgive the finger in the way again, just kept it as simple as I can. I put the flame effects back on the weapon. I'll try and change the dynamic, see what that's like. So, this is how we kind of looked at the beginning anyway. The difference is obviously the skull's there instead of the Johnny Blaze face. I'll close the jaws on the skull. I'll go through phases with this figure. I'll fall in love with the human head sculpt, but sooner or later he's back in this mode. Let's move it to a side profile. Changed my mind on this side profile. I wanted to do him square on. Let's move around a bit, see what that looks like. 5 out of 10 I'll give myself on that. But overall I love this figure. Okay, let's get him on one knee, because that's what I'm all about. Like to put the figures on one knee. Was going to do him on 2 knees, but let's go for the 1 knee. So there he is, tilted his head up. Put the flame effects on the weapon towards the end, so it looks like they're breathing fire. Doesn't look as good on camera as I thought, so I'm going to pause it and see if I can tweak it a little bit. Prefer this one. Yeah, I do prefer it. Okay, let's move it along. Here we go. This one was a bit fiddly. Taken off one of the flame effects on the weapon. Kind of in the ballpark. What I'll do is I'll turn the hand, that hand, in a different direction, see what that looks like. Put the other flame effect back on the weapon. Opened his mouth slightly and changed the direction of the hand. Let's move it around. Okay, So what I'm going to do now is show you the pose I'm going to put him in and put him back into the display and end it there. This isn't the final pose. I just wanted to show you guys how I first posed him when I got him. I didn't really pose him a lot, I just kept him simple. So those flame effects I put around his arms because I thought, well, I didn't know where they went, but I thought I put them there. I put the bullwhip back in his hand, and I just wanted to keep it simple to show you guys how I displayed him. But I'm going to show you the final pose and call it a day. So this is how he's going to be displayed with two weapons from my McFarlane's accessory pack. I've opened up his jaw just to show you that dynamic, and I do like him with those weapons because I actually pulled out every weapon in my accessory pack, and there's about 15 to 16, and it did look good, but these seem to work well with him. But I'm going to change the pose and see which one I'm going to stay with, see what that's like. Not sure about this one, but I thought I'd give it a go. Not sure, I'll have to try another one. I know it when I know it. Quite like it. He's actually taking aim with one of those weapons. These are ones pointing towards the floor. Not a bad dynamic. Let's try another one. I had a go at pointing the weapons towards the sky. Kind of like it. From the distance that looks quite good. Let's come in close. Alright, okay. I think this is kind of going to be it actually, guys. I'll come in close on that. There's a bit of movement in the figure, and I do kind of like it. But I'm going to pause this footage and show you him with the head sculpt on. That's not what I'm going to go with, it's actually this look I'm going to go with. But after that, I'm going to call it a day. So there he is, with his Johnny Blaze head sculpt on, and I must admit, I do like that. There's more personality in that head sculpt than the traditional skull, but I am going to pose him with the skull back on, as you saw previously, but I'll get a nice angle here just to finish on. I hope you've enjoyed some of the ideas I've tried to put across. It's all about interacting with your collection and having a bit of fun. It's not Hot Toys, it's low-end collectors buying 6-inch figures, and this one I know I got him for about $17.99, but normally he retails at something like 25 or 28 quid. So as long as you're having a bit of fun and they're not just standing there on the shelf doing nothing, or your shelf's over cluttered, I think you're going to get more benefits from doing that sort of thing. Less is more for me, and I get to see my figures spaced out, and I can create dynamics like this. So I'm going to leave it there and say thanks for watching the channel. I'll catch you again for the next one. I want to come in close on his face. There, Johnny Blaze. Thanks for watching the channel.